Hello, everyone. It's time for Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 303, season 13. Today's date is February 6, 2024, and welcome to the show. In today's program, I'm going to talk about the comparisons of the television subscription services on TV and Spectrum. I'll go in more detail of both of those services and my memories of seeing those. Also, I'll talk about my memories of the Harvest House Cafeteria in Chicago. Yeah, I'm getting hungry already. That sounds good. Okay, so before I get started, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Sucrets. Remember those? They're throat lozenges, and here's a commercial from 1977. Now, this commercial, I remembered this very well, and it's hilarious. And I have a feeling most people around my age or older would remember that as well. So sit back and relax, and I'll be right back with the show, folks. Thank you.
Barbara, you up? Barbara, you up?
I'm up now.
I don't think I can sleep with this cold. My throat's kind of sore.
All right, I'll get the aspirin and Sucrets.
Aspirin and Sucrets?
Aspirin for your other cold symptoms and for minor sore throat pain. Lots of doctors recommend Sucrets with a medicine for fast temporary relief. I'm glad one of us can sleep.
Aspirin and Sucrets, a sensible way to fight winter.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit Shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Sucrets. This is from 1977. They were throat lozenges. I remember, I used those. I remember the cherry flavor ones. They were good. The regular ones, they were kind of, how would I say that? Kind of tasteless in a way, but that stuff worked when you had a sore throat. It really did. And they came in a tin can like that. And it's still being made today. Yeah, it's still being made. Those tin. You know what? Once you're done with these, with the Sucrets, you can use the tin can to store, things inside. Excuse me. So you could do that, and like pins, paper clips, like that. I saw somebody did that. They put that in there. It was kind of cool. They're very handy. Reminds me of Hold cough drops. Remember those? Yeah. I had a commercial. I played the commercial on that a while back. Those came. And, of course, we have Halls. Still works, Mentholyptus. But they come in a lot of flavors. Honey lemon. I like that. I like cherry. I love cherry. Yeah. It's... My mother used to call it candy. It's not candy. No, it's medicine. I told her that. It's, she uses it once in a while. Her throat gets a little congested, and she coughs like that. But it works. It really does. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I mentioned I'm going to talk about the comparisons of the television subscription services on TV and Spectrum. Also, the Harvest House Cafeterias in Chicago. Before I get started, I'll mention a couple things. One, yesterday I posted a video on my social media accounts, thanking everyone for listening to the podcast, and also, for all the work I've done posting on Van Chicago, and I am very appreciative, very blessed, and that, and it's kind of, I give a big kiss to everybody, like Dinah Shore. I thought it was kind of cute. I don't make many videos much. Sometimes I don't like to record. I'm not a fan of that, and so it's kind of and then I'm getting more compliments about the podcast. They love listening to it. They still can't find it. I tell them, please go to YouTube, do a search and then hit subscribe, and then you'll find my podcast. Also in the apps. I will mention all the information at the end of the show. Let's see. The other thing I want to mention, tomorrow I'm going for my blood test. Because I'm going to see the oncologist in about 2 weeks. They recommended I go about 2 weeks prior. I'm nervous. I don't like to go because I hope the PSA will go down. If it goes up, that's terrible. It means that the medicine I'm not taking is not, the medications isn't working. I hope it's not true. I hope it remains low. We will see. If it is high, my oncologist and, of course, my urologist, they recommend I take just drop the medication I'm taking now and just try another one. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hear that we got to beat this disease, because recently King Charles was diagnosed with cancer. It's not the prostate one like me. It's because he had prostatitis. He had an enlarged prostate. So I wish the royal family very well. Also found out this morning Toby Keith died, the country singer. He died of stomach cancer. That's so sad. I didn't know he was sick. That's a damn shame. He's good. He was a good singer. I liked him. Okay, so let's get started. We'll talk about On TV and Spectrum. I've talked about On TV before on a previous episode. I will talk about it again. I will give you a brief history, and I'll talk about my memories of that. So that was launched in April 1st, 1977. Not in Chicago. No, it was elsewhere. And it was in Los Angeles, and they had a decoder box, and that's what the On TV had. It was like like a rectangular box with a switch off and on. You connect it through your television, and I think you turn it. I'm saying because I never owned one, so I don't know much information. I don't have an experience with it. And then in Los Angeles, the subscribers grew and grew, and it was very popular. And their first headquarters in Chicago, and it was in Crystal Lake, Illinois, right up north. And I remember they had an office in Mount Prospect. I remember that. And they also launched in Detroit, New York, and of course Chicago. In Chicago, they launched in 1980, I believe, something like that. And I remember the commercials very well. I used to watch WSNN TV Channel 44 in Chicago many times. I loved that station because it was so, I don't know, quaint. They had reruns of great shows I used to watch. And of course, Speed Racer was there. They had I Love Lucy. They had The Rookies. They had, what else they had? My Favorite Martian, Hazel, Maverick, Bonanza. They had that. Also, they had great old movies like that. So they signed. So Channel 44 signed up for it, and I think it started about maybe 7:00 in the evening, or about 7:00. and then it lasted through the night. Probably, I don't know, maybe it stopped about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not exactly sure. I could be wrong. So, so there was so much fanfare of that. I remember the commercials, and I'm sure most people did at that time. And a lot of people started to order it, and they watch first run movies that first came out in the theater, and then they ran it on TV. And of course, the funny thing is, I'm sure a lot of people remembered, when you get on TV and you turn on channel 44, you get the squiggly line. You can't see anything. That means you're not subscribed to it. And of course, the other thing was it had adults only programming, which started about 11 or 12 or something like that. And people try to hack it, or like me and my brothers and my friends from the old neighborhood tried to watch it, like that. And I've told this funny story before. My brother was watching it on my old Zenith black and white, and and you have the announcer, I think it's Don Ferris. He would say it every hour. He would go to station break. This is WSNS channel 44 in Chicago, but he turned the volume up way high, and it woke up the house. The only person that heard it was me, because I was upstairs. So also people tried to, back in those days, it wasn't called hacked. It was tried to try to dismantle or try to break into it. But now we call it hacking to get free programming, and it worked. There was a way to do that, and then cable came. Cable television with HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, other channels. It was available in the suburbs of Chicago, but not in the city. The city came much, much later, but we lived in the city at the time, and we didn't get cable until like 87 or 88. So then demand just dropped off significantly. So in that, but before it, there was competition. There was also called Spectrum. Now, Spectrum premiered on September 29th, 1981. About a 1 year, not 1 year. It began operating after 1 year after on TV in Chicago. It was on the station WFBN, channel 66. And it was very small. Didn't turn a profit and didn't make well. It was the same way, watching television. First, it was founded in. It was broadcast in Chicago and Minneapolis, and they also had. Also on TV, and Spectre had sports. They had sporting events too, like that. And so it didn't do very well. So in March 1st, 1984, On TV took over Spectrum's programming. They just ceased operation like that. And then WFBN started started broadcasting music videos 24 hours a day. That was only briefly. That was like for about 6 or 8 months. I remember watching it. That was kind of cool. That was for people who didn't have MTV, and I didn't have that. And but it was nonstop. No commercials. No VJ. Video disc jockeys. No, just straight programming, which was nice. And then it turned. Then it changed to WFBN started broadcasting reruns, just like in the old days in Channel 44. And then it turned into WGBO, and then that remains a Spanish station now, which, of course, Channel 44 in Chicago is a Spanish TV station. They both are. And just like before with Channel 26, that's been a Spanish station all throughout the years. Now it's just regular programming. So who knows? It might change like that. There was also another one called Telefirst that aired on WLS TV, Channel 7 in Chicago. That was very brief, and that was about 40 years ago that happened. So I talked about that in a previous podcast episode as well. Okay. So on TV and Spectrum, you would receive a program guide in the mail. You know, not like at the internet. That didn't exist. It wasn't there. There are program guides on the internet for sale. You know, like if you go to eBay or any website, you know, that auction, and there's a few out there, and they're kind of cool to see. Like that, you know, like who was on the cover. There's a Star Wars cover. There was one with Christopher Reeve. You know, Superman. Also Dolly Parton with Burt Reynolds. You know, the best little whorehouse in Texas. And can't think of what else. There was one with Marlon Brando. Like that. Spectrum. I have not seen a program guide or a box. I wish someone would just, if somebody had one, they would post it on my page, on my Facebook page, Van Chicagoland. That'd be kind of cool. But no luck. I even tried to search one on eBay. If someone had one for sale, no, nothing. No, it would have been nice to see one. That would have been nice. I want to see. I don't know what it looks. I don't know what it looks like. No idea. There's a YouTube video on how when somebody connected the on TV decoder box to their old TV and it started showing the on TV, which was kind of nice. You know, it shows the program guide, what's coming up, you know, and on that, you know, tonight on that schedule. So that's kind of cool like that. And well, today, you know, like I said before, I never owned one, so I have no idea. But anyone who had one in the neighborhood was you think you're kind of cool because you invite your friends and you watch movies like that together. So that's nice like that. Okay, so on TVs ended about 1985, I believe, and then that was that. And then, of course, Channel 44 went into, like I said before, Spanish programming. So that's a great memory for most people in Chicago, like that on TV. It's still a very popular post on my page. It really is, you know. It'd be nice. I have a photo of some two kids and they're watching, and then I think they're playing a video game or they're watching a movie and they have the on TV box on top of their TV set, which is nice like that. Yeah. So I found out the rest of the cities that served on TV, like for example, there was LA, Detroit, Phoenix, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Cincinnati, of course, Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Portland, Oregon. So that's that one for that. But first, before I get started, on the Harvest House Cafeteria, I'm gonna play a little voiceover commercial for on TV, and I believe it's Don Ferris. He did the usual bumper. People remember watching Channel 44. They remember those. And it's about 20 seconds long. So here is the on TV voiceover with Don Ferris that was broadcasted on Channel 44, WSNS TV in Chicago. And I'll be right back, folks. Thank you.
This is On TV, subscription television, Chicago. This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the voiceover of On TV. That was Don Ferris. So right now I'm going to talk about Harvest House Cafeteria. I remember this very well. I remember my memories of going to this place at the Fort City Shopping Center on the southwest side of Chicago, right near my old neighborhood. I think Woolworths owned this company, this cafeteria, I believe. That one opened at Fort City on August 12th, 1965. And I got the ad from the Chicago Tribune, and it was open every day, and it was reasonably priced. The food was excellent. Like, for example, you would have a turkey dinner, you have roast beef, you would have baked Virginia ham, fried chicken, plus you would have garden fresh salads, great desserts. Oh, and that one, luckily there's a guy, his name is Frank Werner. He was part of the group, the Fort City group I run. I'll talk about that in a second. That was across from in the middle of the mall. There was also the Fort City Grill. I used to go there a lot. I went with a couple of friends of mine from high school, or even before that. It was like a diner, and they served, like, for example, hamburgers, pizza burgers, hot dogs, cold drinks. Oh, it was great. Oh, desserts too. Oh, I love that. The food was excellent. I love that. And I would see, like, you would sit like in those circular stools like that. Sometimes I remember when I was little, my mother and I and my brothers, sometimes we went shopping in Fort City. We did that all the time. If we were hungry, she would treat us to that. She never took us to the Harvest House Cafeteria. No, I don't think so. She remembered it. But she did take us to the Woolworth Grill. And then we would just have a hamburger or any sandwich, that was on the menu. And so that's a great memory of Fort City. Fortunately, it's not there anymore. Fort City's changed drastically. Ugh. Times have changed like that. Also, it opened, the Harvest House Cafeteria opened, at the Yorktown Shopping Center in Lombard. That opened in September 26, 1968. That was located at the lower level of the mall, and this one was the same thing, like that. And so I found the menu of this place. I'm not going to read the whole menu, but I'll tell you what they had. So they had, like, hamburgers. So, they had specials. There was turkey dinners, grilled cheese sandwiches. Let's see, also fish. They had that. Chicken and dumplings for dinner, pepper steak dinners, like that. For desserts, they probably had sundaes, how about sundaes, like that. Oh, that was good. That was amazing. That's a good, that's a great memory when you're growing up and you go to the mall and you get hungry. You stop by at the Harvest House Cafeteria, like that. I posted a picture of that in my group. the Classic Ford City Peacock Alley Facebook group. The funny thing about this group, I had it before, but one day it disappeared. I don't know what happened. One day it was there, next day it was gone. I don't know. It just vanished. Maybe it got. I don't know. I just maybe somebody. Maybe I violated some crazy rule from Facebook. I don't know, or somebody in my group did something terrible, or they reported it. You know. So I don't know what happened. I have no clue. I searched it. I was thinking of contacting Facebook to see what was going on. Nothing. So I started from scratch. I don't have many members as I used to. The first group I had about I think 8,000 members, but now it's about over 300. That's very small, but I need to generate it like that. So I got to invite more people. We'll see about that. Anyway, all right. So that's it for this show. I'll do a recap of what I talked about. I talked about the comparisons of the television subscription services on TV and Spectrum. Also, I talked about the Harvest House Cafeteria in Chicago. This podcast will be published later on today, wherever podcasts are available: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, also Breaker, Overcast. You have apps on your phone and your tablets. Just tap on the app. It'll take you there. Just hit follow or subscribe, whatever they have. Also, it'll be on my blog, vanchicagoland.blog. Also, it'll be on my YouTube channel. People have asked me again, where do I find your podcasts? I want to listen to your podcast. They keep asking me that. Go to YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel. Do a search, Fan of Chicagoland Stories, the podcast, or my name, Pika Sauce. You will find it. Hit subscribe, and you will get the latest episode. You can listen to previous episodes as you wish, if you have time. You can listen on your tablet, your phone, your desktop, anywhere. Also, it'll be shared on my social media accounts: Facebook, X, Reddit, Instagram. Let's see what else. Also, I'm on Threads and also on Blue Sky. I just joined Blue Sky. I was invited. So, and I posted on LinkedIn. It's also there as well. Okay. So I will do another podcast this weekend. We'll see what I'm going to talk about. So this is Pika Sash, your host of Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. Today's kind of cloudy, not too cold. It's fine. The weather has been mild so far. I heard next week's going to be a little chilly. February weather. I knew that was going to happen. So here's like I said, thank you again for joining me, and bye-bye for me. And here's a little traveling music from Ray Rayner saying bye, bye, bye. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.